Well, good morning and a warm welcome to you today. Welcome to Virginia James Wellness. I hope everyone is doing well. Today is Sunday, June 14th, 2026, and my name is Libby. Hello and welcome. Each day on this channel, we take a look at the astrological energies and explore just very practical and easy ways to work with that energy, whether it's a challenging energy or an energy of ease, to work towards our highest good. I'm doing this alongside you. As I'm doing it for me, I'm hoping to share some things with you that will be helpful. So I'm really excited. We will pull some tarot cards at the end and in with an affirmation that hopefully you can use to create some positive energy around you. Well, let's talk a little bit about today's energy. It's been very similar astrologically from a Vedic astrology perspective. It's been very much the same for a few days, but it feels a little quieter today, a little more reflective. Um, some of the more intense days have been behind us, and so now the energy feels a little more slow. In fact, as I've told you, I'm an Aries, and so the energy feels stagnant to me. But I'm sure I'm not alone in that with my fellow Aries. But from that Vedic astrology perspective, it's not necessarily a day for forcing outcomes or making some sort of dramatic move or push forward or just that sheer effort. It really, the energy favors preparation and organizing and simplification and tending to the things that you are already trying to grow towards your highest self. So sometimes the most important and most productive thing we can do is get prepared. So over time, I've realized that wellness is not complicated at all. Oftentimes, it just is, it's those small preparatory things that we do on a regular basis that has the most impact on our future self. So, translation for that is future you and me. After the work week, we're going to be tired by Wednesday, so let's get busy helping ourselves today. And what would that look like? So I was kind of reflecting on that, and it all came back to stewardship of self, stewardship of our health, of our time, of our energy, stewardship of our resources, our homes. And so I asked myself a question, how could I put out into the universe the best way to help people be good stewards of themselves and to use this energy of today to prepare? Well, it didn't take me long because when I lived in Augusta, Georgia, I owned a business, a healthy, I should preface it with that, a healthy meal preparation service called Sugar Magnolia Augusta. It no longer exists because I've moved on, and COVID changed things, but it was a great business and I enjoyed cooking healthy meals every week for my clients, depending on what dietary needs they had, if they had any dietary needs or restrictions. But it wasn't very glamorous, but it promoted a sense of ease and gave my clients the gift of time and good health. And I love that I created some ease for them and for myself, because at the end, I always created 5 more for me. So I was also prepared for my work week. But it created that gracious breathing room of good health. And it gave a little support to people, later in the week when they became tired and weary. So I wanted to share with you something very quickly. This is obviously not a meal preparation channel. This is a channel about using the energy of the day to promote your highest self. And one way we do that is through nourishment. So, this is nothing fancy, but I wanted to share a tip with you that I learned. Um, if you go to the store and you want to prepare yourself breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and you want to possibly even eat organic and eat as much, healthy food as possible, um, buy yourself a couple of pounds, 2 pounds of some sort of organic protein. I like a pound of ground beef. I said 2 pounds. You'll buy 2 pounds, either of ground beef, ground turkey, chopped chicken, whatever protein you like, buy 2 pounds. And if you like variety and that appeals to you, then buy two different. So you might buy 1 pound of ground turkey and 1 pound of chopped chicken. And then a small bag of organic rice. Then you want to buy 2 cans of organic beans. I like black beans and I like red beans. You might buy a can of organic chickpeas. Whatever appeals to you, buy 2 cans of organic. Then you want to buy some produce, peppers, spinach, or arugula, some tomatoes, and buy yourself a few seasonings. So you could either buy yourself a couple of packets of organic taco seasoning, because we're going to be making something that requires that. And then maybe a bunch of fresh organic parsley or a bunch of fresh organic cilantro. All right, so the meal itself is not necessarily the point. Okay, but the point is, when Wednesday arrives, life gets busy, you already have nourishment that is healthy waiting on you. And we just said that stewardship, those small acts of preparation, become acts of self-care and self-love and nourishment and energy. And if you want to work with the energy and you want to go to work and perform to meet your goals at work and your personal goals, you want to be nourished. And the beautiful thing is that none of this is complicated. So if you've never meal prepped before, this is so simple that it's stupid, okay? And it's for beginners. And it's also for people that just, need a fresh idea for the week. So very quickly, and I will put this down in the not the comments section, the description box of the video. I will just go ahead and put some of this in there for you. But basically all you're going to do is brown those couple of pounds of meat, add your taco sauce to that per the directions, boil your rice, open up your cans of organic beans, and just add your spinach or arugula or lettuce, your peppers, your tomatoes, avocados, spring onions, cilantro, whatever ingredients you enjoy. Really, that's enough. The more simple, the better. Buy yourself a little bit of sour cream if that's what you like to dollop on top. But get you some glass containers and simply divide it by 4. You'll divide your meat by 4. You'll divide, or whatever protein you're using, you'll divide your rice by 4. You'll divide your produce by 4, and just layer it that way. And then Monday through Thursday, you have either a lunch or a dinner done. It's done. Now you can even take this same idea and make it into a burrito breakfast bowl. So then you've got 4 days worth of breakfast prepared too, okay? So then at that point, you just need to add on to your grocery list a dozen organic eggs, and you will just, scramble those up in some butter, add some salt and pepper, divide that into 4 separate containers, and you've got your second pound of meat or protein. You're going to add that. Then you're going to add a few more things, your cilantro, a little bit of spinach. I like to add some sliced chopped olives to mine in the morning. Whatever you want to add. You could even use a pound of sausage. You could do it that way as well. Then If you want to have your whole entire week through Thursday prepped, add a bag of organic apples or bananas for the week. Buy yourself 4 or 5 cans of a high quality tuna in oil if you happen to like that. And you have your whole week nourished and supported. And if weight loss or not gaining weight is one of your goals, or eating healthy and clean is one of your goals, well, talk about loving yourself. That's what I love about today's energy. It supports preparation, and today's energy supports love of self. It supports good stewardship of the self. And it reminds us self-care doesn't always have to be a spa day. Sometimes self-care just looks like opening up the refrigerator when you get home on Monday night or Thursday night and finding something nourishing there waiting on you. Okay, and like I said, change it up a little bit for your variety. Sometimes it looks like good stewardship and using that energy and focus of today, a decision to take care of your future self today. And your future self will say thank you. It will say thank you in the fact that you don't gain weight. It will say thank you in the fact that you have energy. It will say thank you in the fact that it saves you time. And, if something comes up and it's a good opportunity, like maybe your friend or colleague invites you to lunch and you want to go do that instead of eating it. Or maybe your family says, hey, come over, we've prepared a good meal and I want you to eat with us. Maybe you want to spend time with someone you love. They want to take you out to dinner. Or maybe a friend calls and you want to just go enjoy life for a little bit. Relationships are so nourishing too. And that's good stewardship of self. And today's energy also supports that astrologically. So if you don't get around to eating everything that you've prepped up, or maybe you just think, I can't eat another burrito bowl to save my life, all you have to do is simply place the meals that are not eaten before they go bad in the freezer for another day. Again, stewardship. It doesn't have to be rigid. It can be so simple that a kid could do it, okay? And it helps with our busy schedules. And it helps us to spend time focusing on taking good care of ourselves, creating that support for ourselves whenever we may need it. And support comes through preparation. Always, it comes through preparation. It comes through community, spending time with people. It comes through all sorts of valuable forms of nourishment. Both of those things are valuable forms of nourishment that today's astrology is in fact supporting. So that is stewardship. That is preparation. And in many, many ways, it is love. Self-love. You cannot pour from an empty cup. We've heard that so many times in our lives, and you can't. If you do not love yourself, no one is going to boomerang that back to you. Now, I am a mother, and a mother will boomerang it back to you whether you do it or not. But in general, you have to love yourself before love comes back to you. So other forms, preparing tomorrow morning's coffee. Go ahead and get it ready. You might can sleep in an extra 10 or 15 minutes. Go ahead and fill your water bottles with water. Get them ready to go so that you can just grab one on the way out going to work. Put your daily walks on your calendar. Think ahead for yourself. How much exercise do I want to get? Well, I want to get in 2 20-minute brisk walks this week. Okay, on Tuesday and Thursday. I don't have anything on my calendar. I'm going to write that in. It is scheduled, and I'm going to do that. Going to bed a little earlier. If you're in a new job or a new position or somewhere where your focus and your energy has to really be on point, instead of going to bed at 10, go to bed at 9:30. And then, putting your clothes out, going to the trouble to just today, let me open up the weather app and see what the weather's going to be Monday through Friday. I might need to get my rain jacket out. I might need to wear that pair of shoes that can't get wet on Tuesday because it's going to rain on Thursday so I don't ruin them. And then prepare your healthy meals. Prepare that for yourself. Go do that for yourself today. The energy's supporting you, and I will be your biggest cheerleader. I want you to stay healthy. I want me to stay healthy because the world we live in needs us. We need each other, and we need our best, highest selves. So I know that some of these choices seem entirely insignificant. I know that they might seem so simple that you think, why is she even telling me that? I already know all of this. It seems insignificant in the moment, yes, but stewardship of self, meaning doing these things on the regular. So if you've prepped 4 breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so 4 days out of 7, you have taken extra good care of yourself. Okay, it's those small daily on purpose with intention actions, that 1 degree of change that causes you to become your highest self in action. And today's astrology reminds us that growth doesn't always happen through major, profound things. Like, I don't have to go to the gym and work out 7 days a week for 2 hours at a time. Sometimes it just happens through preparation. Sometimes our highest self, reaching our goals, reaching those milestones, preparing for ourselves, that is the daily, small, insignificant thing that causes the most profound changes. I think I said that yesterday. I think I said that day before yesterday. And ultimately, it gives us the clarity of mind so that we're making the best, wisest decisions as possible for ourselves and on our behalf. And really, a lot of growth happens simply through what feels like seemingly insignificant preparation. Sometimes growth happens through that type of stewardship and care. And sometimes growth happens, very quietly beneath the surface of your week. And today's energy will support you. Now, today's energy may also show up in our relationships. So this isn't really necessarily a day to force conversations or demand immediate answers of ourselves. Instead, as far as relationships go, including a relationship to ourself, the energy favors patience, understanding, allowing things to naturally unfold, and preparation. So sometimes the most loving thing we can do is simply create a little space for ourselves mentally, emotionally, in our mind, in our heart, and in our spirit, that will allow ourselves that care, that room for more personal growth. Now, the same thing kind of holds true today for our career and our finances. Today supports preparation more than force or action. Stewardship, preparation, that's the theme that supports our clarity, our emotional space, and conserving those emotions for our highest good, as opposed to carrying heavy emotions that lower our vibrations. So, organizing, planning, finishing tying up those loose ends, preparing meals for yourself, reviewing what are my goals, creating a simple plan for the week, which could just be meal preparation. It's a beautiful way to work with the energy of the day. A gardener prepares the soil, then a gardener, plants the seeds, but you don't see the abundance until the crop comes in or it's harvest time. But if your goal is health, in whatever way that may be, it may be healthy weight loss, it may be healthy weight gain, it may be maintaining a healthy weight. And high energy level and a nourished self, mind, body, and spirit. And if that's the case, it's very easy. Just prepare for tomorrow's abundance. And if weight loss is your goal, you're not going to lose weight this week necessarily by preparing the things that we mentioned. However, you do that over about 6 months or even 3 months, and wow, you're going to see some pretty significant changes. Okay? Now, spiritually, today's lesson is actually refreshingly simple. You don't need to understand every astrological or planetary transit to benefit from today's energy. It's really a practical expression of today's astrology, and it's stewardship of self, love of self, preparing for yourself, caring for your body and your health, your home, your finances. And yes, your nourishment does tie into your finances. If I am my highest self and I'm my most healthy self and I'm my most clear self in my mind, there's room for decision making. If my heart isn't heavy emotionally, but I'm pushing some of that, letting go of some of that, and I'm pushing in more emotional stewardship and self-love through just my meal preparation and nourishment. That's caring for my relationships, that's caring for my finances, that's caring for my home, and certainly my body, my health, and then really my future self, my highest self. So I want to encourage you. The planets today, the energy today in our astrology, yes, it describes the season that we're in, the energy that we're in, but those daily choices we make to work with that energy, that determines how we experience our life. So always work with the energy of the day. And today is a beautiful day to work with that energy and make those few small decisions to support yourself and the life that you're building, the life that you want, the life that you want to create for yourself. Enjoy that. So let's see what wisdom through our tarot today is going to join the conversation. So I'm doing a little bit different. Yesterday we had the Seven of Pentacles. He's planting his seeds here. And this is something that we already know. These energies, these tarot cards, they speak to us in a way that says, look, I already know this. But this is an aspect that might be on the shadow side of ourselves, or we might be not allowing ourselves to experience good energies by purging some of the older ones. This is patient growth. It reminds us that meaningful results don't necessarily happen, overnight. He's planted the seed. He's coming back and tending his garden. He's trusting the process. And he's going to believe that this hard work and effort is going to produce a harvest. And just because we can't see the harvest yet doesn't mean the seeds aren't growing. It doesn't mean that we're not growing. And today's energy feels very much aligned with that effort. With that energy. So a little effort today creates ease tomorrow. That little bit of preparation today creates that abundance later. And no, it might not be $1 million abundance. The abundance of health, the abundance of joy, the abundance of emotional stability, the abundance of clarity. Talk about reaching the goals that you have envisioned in your mind for yourself. Now, before we close with an affirmation I wrote for you, I can't wait to tell you this. So, on this channel with tarot, I've been pulling one card that kind of matches today's energy. For some reason, I was guided by spirit because I really want to put out in the universe a way to help people. And sometimes, working with the energy, of course, that's a great way to assist us all. But you're not going to believe this. I thought, I'm going to shuffle the cards really well, and then I'm going to pull 3 cards, and I'm going to see what universe wants me to share with you today. So, of course, the Pentacle card, 7 of Pentacles, and we've already discussed that one. This is the order off the top of the deck that I pulled these cards. The first one I pulled is the Emperor. Now, I'm an Aries. I've told you that. This is me. This is Aries energy. So this tells me that when I come on this channel, the thing I need to do is be myself. Let my energy from myself travel human to human. The second card that came out was the High Priestess. And the High Priestess says, trust your intuition, Libby. What does your intuition tell you or guide you to speak about? You're not just speaking because you want to get on YouTube. And you're speaking directly to a very small percentage of people, of course, but people that have, for whatever reason, been called to click on the channel. And so then came in the Two of Wands. And he is standing here. He has literally the world in his hands. He's holding his staff. He's looking at the kingdom that he has built, and he's looking out across with a strategizing. How can I improve this kingdom? How can I build upon this kingdom? And that's a card of, it's a number 2. It's a card of balance and duality. Likewise, my intuition, a number 2, a card of balance and duality. Balance. Planting a seed. Okay? Stewardship of self. You may not see the results today. I'm not going to lose 100 pounds because I prepare 4 turkey burrito bowls, okay? But it's a step. I'm planting, it's mirror reverse, planting the seed. This is what I have for you, not because you're an Aries, but because you are going to be your true and authentic self. This is me being myself with you in this moment to share a message with you about health, because I want my fellow humans to be healthy in mind, body, and spirit, just like I wish that for myself. You be you. Do what is right for you. And then trust your intuition. This is the High Priestess. She says, believe what your heart and mind and spirituality is telling you. Support what Spirit says you should do to be a good steward of yourself. And when you don't know what to do, use a strategy. Look out in your kingdom of life, which might be your job, your career, your work. What strategy am I doing? What's the most simple thing I can do so that the world is in my hands? And I'm using goals, I'm using strategies. I'm thinking about myself. I'm thinking about my life, and I'm preparing for it. If I had sat down to think about it, I wouldn't have done as good a job as Spirit did in choosing what tarot to bring to you today. And I can't tell you how pleased I am about it. So I wrote a little affirmation for you today, and we'll finish up after that. So I'm going to try to show these cards too. It says, I prepare. You can't make this up. I pulled the cards after I read the affirmation. I prepare with intention. 7 of Pentacles. I trust the process. Small actions create, meaningful change. And my future self, my authentic future self is worthy of being taken care of. I just wanted to show you that I can't believe how beautifully it matched the tarot that I asked Spirit. to help me share a message with you today. So now let's read it with a little more flow. I prepare with intention. I trust the process. Small actions create meaningful change. My future self is worthy of my care. And with this, I think I will close. And I want to wish you a happy day. I wish to thank you if you've made it this far along in the video, and I hope something resonated with you. I hope you have a beautiful day. Go make your burrito bowls. Enjoy your day and enjoy your week, and I'll see you tomorrow.